Online dating at 60, 70, or even 80 isn't ridiculous. But if you walk into it unprepared, it can hurt you even more deeply than it did in your 20s. I know many older adults are quietly using dating apps with caution, with hesitation, and sometimes with hope. But I also know some people, after just a few bad experiences, delete the app, shut down emotionally, and think, well, I guess this isn't meant for someone like me. But that's not true. Online dating can absolutely open a new door for older folks, if you know how to walk into it with safety, wisdom, and the right pace. So today, I want to share with you the 7 most common mistakes older people often make with online dating, and more importantly, how to avoid unnecessary heartache and find the connection you truly deserve. Welcome to Talk with John, your trusted space for real stories and smart advice for life after 60. I'm John, and I've spent over 40 years working in the field of health and wellness for men and women in midlife and beyond. Let's dive into that 7 most common mistakes now. 1. Thinking you're too old to start over, especially with a dating app. I remember the exact day I installed my first dating app. My hands were shaking. My heart pounded like it did when I was a 20-year-old waiting outside the school gate for a girl I liked. Only difference was, I was 73. You know what made me hesitate most? It wasn't the technology. It was that one nagging thought looping in my head. Am I being ridiculous? Isn't online dating too late at my age? And I know many older folks feel the same. We live in a time where smartphones, apps, texts, video calls, they all seem to belong to the younger generation. And whatever belongs to the young, the old often step aside from. But let me ask you this, gently and honestly, have you ever felt lonely? Have you ever picked up your phone and then put it down because there was no one to text a simple goodnight to? If your answer is yes, then why deny yourself the chance to connect with someone just because the method is something as simple as a phone app? I once met Margaret, 69 years old, at a support group session. She said, I used to laugh at dating apps, but then one day I realized I'd been eating dinner alone for 5 years. And suddenly I longed for someone to ask me how I was. So she gave a senior dating app a try. She told me, at first I was nervous. I kept rewriting my profile, but a week in I met someone, Paul, a widower like me, kind and easy to talk to. We're not talking about love just yet, but we chat every day. And honestly, my heart feels a lot less heavy. Online dating won't make you young again, but it gives your heart a chance to be heard again. You don't have to dive into a passionate romance like you did at 30. You just need to crack open a small door. And a dating app might just be the key that helps you do that. Age doesn't stop you from loving. It just makes you wiser about who to love. And with a phone, a genuine photo, and a few honest lines, you can plant a seed of connection for yourself again. Don't be afraid to try. No one is too old to find someone to walk with through the rest of life. And if it starts with just one gentle swipe on a screen, then why not? 2. Choosing the wrong app and thinking online dating isn't for people like us. Have you ever opened a dating app and felt completely out of place? I have. I remember it clearly. When I first started, I downloaded one of the apps my grandkids were using. Bright colors, flashy photos, bios filled with emojis and phrases I didn't understand. Within 5 minutes, I deleted the app. And I nearly convinced myself, well, maybe online dating really isn't meant for someone my age. But that's not true either. This same thing happened to George, a 67-year-old retired accountant. He told me during a private session, I tried one app. It was all young people saying silly things. I was just looking for a real conversation. But I kept getting ignored. I figured I didn't belong. I asked him, which app did you use? When he told me, I smiled gently and said, George, that one's made for young folks looking for short-term fun. If you want real companionship, you need a place that's built for that. Not all dating apps are the same. Some are for quick swipes and casual fun. Others are designed for thoughtful, grown-up connections. And some are made specifically for people 50 and older. These apps usually have simpler, easier-to-use designs, more meaningful questions in the profile section, a user base of people who are mature, respectful, and serious about building real relationships. If you're ready to try, here are some well-reviewed apps for older adults. Silver Singles, for people over 50 with a helpful personality test. Our Time, one of the most popular senior dating apps. Harmony, ideal for serious long-term relationships. Lumen, built for those 50+ with a clean, easy interface. And if you're not tech savvy, don't be afraid to ask your kids or grandkids for help. Most of them will actually feel proud that you're willing to explore something new. And you might be surprised how supportive they are. Choosing the right dating app isn't about keeping up with trends. It's about finding a space where you feel safe, seen, and respected. A good fit helps you meet people your age, in similar situations, and with shared goals. Finding honest, meaningful companionship for this beautiful chapter of life. Are you sharing personal information too soon, trusting quickly, getting hurt deeply? One thing I've noticed after years of working with older adults is this. Our hearts are often open, wide open, and because of that, many people end up sharing too much too soon with someone they just met on a dating app. And I understand, after living alone for years, when someone shows up and says good morning, sends sweet messages at night, your heart softens, doesn't it? Before you know it, you're telling them that you live alone, how much your pension is, where you go shopping, that you own your home. Some even go as far as sharing bank account numbers for convenience. Let me tell you about Linda, 65, a widow living alone. She met a man through a dating app. He was charming, attentive, video called her every evening. Within 3 weeks, she felt he was someone she could trust with anything. So she shared photos of her home, details about her savings, and even told him her daily routine. And then he vanished. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone. What hurt her most wasn't just the betrayal. It was that she felt she had betrayed herself for trusting so quickly, so fully, so blindly. I don't tell this story to scare you. I tell it so that you understand. Someone who genuinely cares about you will never rush you into giving up your privacy. If someone you meet online pressures you with things like, give me your address so I can send you gifts, share your bank info, it'll be easier to transfer money, take a photo in front of your house for me, that's not affection, that's a red flag. So how do you share safely? Start with light topics, hobbies, daily routines, what you're passionate about. Keep your private details like address, financial info, health conditions, to yourself until you've met in person and truly trust them. And most of all, trust your instincts. Your inner voice is wise. It's shaped by a lifetime of experiences. Online dating can be wonderful if you lead with a kind heart, but a clear head. You can open up without giving away everything. You can trust, but still take your time. And you can absolutely find someone special without handing them your whole life after a few sweet texts or using an outdated profile photo or none at all. I get it. At our age, many people feel uncomfortable posting new photos of themselves. Some feel they don't look like they used to. Others think an old photo from 10 or 15 years ago still shows who I am, right? But here's the thing, my friend, your profile photo isn't just a picture, it's your first handshake. And if that handshake isn't honest, trust becomes hard to build. Let me tell you about Susan, 65 years old. She used a photo from when she was 50. Dark hair, glowing skin, bright smile. She looked wonderful, but that wasn't how she looked today. When she finally met the man she'd been chatting with for 2 weeks, he looked surprised. He stayed polite through coffee, but didn't follow up afterward. Susan later told me, I felt like I misled him. I should have just shown him who I really am today. Gray hair and all. What upset her most wasn't rejection. It was that she hadn't given herself a fair, honest chance. This happens to many older adults, understandably so. There's a bit of nostalgia, a bit of self-doubt, and a desire to feel how we once did. But the truth is, at this stage in life, honesty is far more attractive than looking younger. The right person isn't looking for smooth skin or a youthful filter. They're looking for warmth, sincerity, and someone who feels real. When you use an old or unclear photo or no photo at all, you're making it harder for someone to know who they're truly connecting with. But when you use a current photo, taken with care and confidence, you're saying, this is me, genuine, present, and ready for something real. A few simple tips. Use natural lighting. Morning light by a window works wonders. Smile gently. No need to pose, just let yourself be. Wear something you feel good in, even if it's just your favorite sweater. Ask a friend to snap a photo if you're unsure. Sometimes others capture us best. At our age, what's most appealing isn't flawless skin. It's the quiet confidence of someone who's not trying to hide. So show them you as you are today, because you, just as you are, might be exactly who someone out there is hoping to meet. 5. Expecting too much, too soon, and then giving up too quickly. I understand the feeling. You've just connected with someone online. They seem kind, they reply quickly, maybe even video call each evening. And suddenly your mind starts building a picture. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the person I've been waiting for. At our age, we don't want to waste time. We've been through enough heartache to know what we want. And we want it now, not someday. But here's the truth I've learned. The faster you expect, the easier it is to be disappointed. And when things don't go perfectly, many people delete the app and say, I knew it. This online stuff isn't for me. I once worked with Paul, a 72-year-old retired engineer. He told me, I found someone I liked. We chatted daily for a week. I thought it could be something serious. Then she just stopped replying. No explanation. Gonem. He looked defeated. I didn't tell him don't be sad, because his sadness was real. But I did gently remind him, love takes time, even at our age. We're wiser now, yes, but the heart still needs time to grow into something true. Online dating isn't magic. It's not an instant fix for loneliness. It's a slow unfolding, a process of finding out if two lives can share space, step by step. When you expect too much too quickly, you risk placing a role on someone they're not ready to play. And when they don't fit your dream, the disappointment hits harder than it should. So here's what I suggest. Treat every conversation as a walk, not a race. Don't ask yourself, is this the one after just a few messages? Instead, ask, do I feel safe and comfortable talking to this person? If the answer is yes, keep going. If the answer is no, pause, don't panic. At this age, you don't need someone to sweep you off your feet. You need someone who'll walk beside you at your pace through your real life. That kind of connection takes time, but trust me, it's worth the wait. 6. Ignoring your true feelings, just because you're afraid this might be your last chance. A woman once whispered to me during a group session, I know he's not treating me right, but I'm scared. What if I let him go and there's no one else after this? Her words stopped me in my tracks because I knew many people aren't choosing love. They're choosing not to be alone. And that fear of loneliness can sometimes be louder than the discomfort of being with the wrong person. Take Diane, 70 years old. She started chatting with a man through an app. At first, he was kind and attentive, but gradually he became controlling. He would say things like, why didn't you call me this morning? Who else are you talking to? I want access to your Facebook so I can trust you. Diane felt uneasy. She knew something wasn't right, but she stayed, telling herself, better to have someone, even if he's too much, than to have no one. That broke my heart. Let's be clear. That's not companionship. That's emotional manipulation. And any relationship that makes you shrink yourself to keep the peace is not worth keeping. My honest advice, if something feels wrong, pause. Don't ignore that quiet inner voice. If you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, please take a step back. If someone makes you feel small, anxious, or always not enough, they are not the one. At this age, love should be safe. It should feel like home. You shouldn't have to prove yourself just to be loved. You are not too old to set boundaries. You are not too late to say, I'd rather be alone in peace than stay in a connection that brings me pain. Someone who's right for you will not demand your silence, your passwords, or your dignity. They will simply want you as you are with kindness and respect. 7. Giving up too soon, when love might be just around the corner. This might be the most common and the most heartbreaking mistake I see. After a few rejections, a few people ghosting them, or just silence after silence, many older folks decide to delete the app. They shut the door on dating altogether and quietly think, I guess someone like me just isn't meant to be loved again. I met Tom, 68, a retired teacher. He said, I messaged over 20 women. Only one replied. And then she stopped talking after a day. I felt foolish, like I should have never even tried. I paused, then gently asked, Tom, have you ever planted a seed before? He nodded. Of course. I used to garden every morning. I smiled. So if the seed didn't sprout in 3 days, did you dig it up? Or did you keep watering it, believing it would grow? Tom sat in silence for a moment. And the next day, he reinstalled the app. That's the thing about dating, especially later in life. It takes time and it takes hope. But just because it hasn't worked yet doesn't mean it never will. Some people haven't replied, not because you're unworthy, but because they're also struggling with fear, loneliness, or learning how to open up again, just like you. So if you've been thinking about quitting, please hear this. You are not too much. You are not too late. You are not silly for wanting to be loved again. You are human. You are alive. And deep down, you know, You still long for connection, and you still deserve it. Don't shut the door on your heart just yet, because right now, somewhere out there, there's someone also wondering if they should try one more time, also scared to swipe again, also hoping that someone somewhere is still looking for them. Maybe that someone is you. And finally, see you in the next video, where we continue the journey of living, loving, and enjoying old age with passion and meaning. You deserve love and joy at every stage of life. Thank you for watching Talk with John channel. I am John.